the biggest name, the biggest storyline that we have followed all week is Nick Bosa, who returns to the field, signs a mega deal. 5 years, $170 million. I believe it's $122.5 million guaranteed. He's the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL, but he has not been with the team all offseason. We dove into it pretty in-depth on Wednesday about what the expectation should be for him, but have they changed? He returns. It is now solidified he will be on the game or on the field at the game on Sunday. 2 days of practice. What are your expectations for Nick Bosa here?
Well, pretty high. I mean, we did dive into it a little bit earlier in the week, but for a defensive end, I think this is completely different as opposed to, if it was a quarterback or even a wide receiver or someone else on the defense, like a middle linebacker or a free safety or something like that. Like, it's a little easier for him to fit in and just see ball, get ball, than it is for a guy like Fred Warner to have to, call some defenses or anything like that, or a free safety to have to make checks in the secondary. It's a little different. There's still some mental prep that has to go into it, but quite honestly, I feel like Joey Bosa is going to get on a plane out to Pittsburgh, watch a ton of film on there. Yeah. He's going to chat with his position coaches, with the defensive coordinator, anything that he needs to really know. But for the most part, he, I think, has one job, and that's to make Kenny Pickett's life hell. So, and I expect that's all they'll kind of force him to do, quite honestly. So Bosa's experienced enough of a player to, I guess, not be surprised by things and to do his job well, no matter, when he's coming in. I think the biggest thing is conditioning, but it seems like I did see Kyle Shanahan say like that's not really a concern for them either.
So TJ Watt actually talked to Jim Wexell of 247 Sports. He kind of touched on exactly what you just said. He was talking about Bosa, and he said, quote, definitely wasn't easy, discussing his return to the field in 2021 where he practiced. He signed the deal on Friday afternoon, was on the field on Sunday afternoon. He said definitely wasn't easy, but you're going to have fresh legs. Difficult for game plan, but it's pretty much just get outside and rush as hard and as fast as you can. He'll definitely be fresh, but I think it's the following weeks, soft tissue wise, that's the challenge. TJ did deal with some hamstring and some groin stuff during that season, but ultimately went on to win Defensive Player of the Year and tied, probably in a lot of Steelers fans' eyes, broke the single season sack record. But Bosa comes in here week one, and TJ had 2 sacks and I believe a forced fumble in week one against the Bills that season. So the expectations should be high. But I agree with you. I look at it the same way. Like, I look at Bosa as the reigning Defensive Player of the Year who plays edge rusher, which means that his job every single down is go get the quarterback, see ball, get ball. And it's just not mentally that challenging to say, oh, okay, this is what I have to do. On top of that, the Pittsburgh Steelers have some questions with their left and right tackle in Chooks and in Dan Moore Jr. So it's not like he's stepping in here. And if it was reversed and it was a guy like Alex Highsmith, then you're talking, oh, well, he's got to go up against Trent Williams. Like, no, Nick Bosa's got to go up against Chooks Okorafor and Dan Moore Jr., who I do have hopes for, but not, superstar level hopes. Like, I expect Nick Bosa to win. I don't want to say a good chunk, but I do expect him to win a decent amount of those reps against either of those two, especially if he has fresh legs. I don't think it hinders what he's capable of doing, but I do at the same time think that a 4-quarter game, if this is as big of a dogfight as everybody expects it to be, at some point those fresh legs are going to say, man, I have not played a football game in 6 months, 7 months. I haven't practiced in 6-7 months. I haven't been hit like this in 6-7 months. You're going to feel it a little bit. I'm not saying he doesn't play a whole game and he isn't able to finish. I'm just saying that the reps might be a little lower than we anticipate.
Yeah, I think you're right. And you just wonder, what does their depth look like? Are they going to be able to rotate in enough guys to, I guess, those guys won't make the same impact as Joey Bosa, but can they be, passable while Bosa, kind of gets his breath whenever he needs it? And that's just a big opportunity for the Steelers. Like, you have to hit on, it's like, it's like in basketball when, you're playing LeBron or whatever and he goes to the bench. It's like, you have to take advantage of those minutes. You have to win those minutes, those snaps, whatever it is, because you're not going to get that many opportunities, and you're not going to have that big of an advantage, especially when Bosa comes back in. So
Yep.
yeah, it's all about, I think you're right. I think those opportunities will come where Bosa says, I got to take a blow, like just, get his legs back underneath him. And those will be crucial downs for the Steelers,
Yeah, I agree. I still think that Bosa's Bosa, but just like you said, those downs, that's when it's like, okay, let's take advantage. And that goes to Matt Canada, and we'll dive into the offense in a little while, but it's a big, can the OC recognize and make those plays? And I think that'll be a huge challenge.